In this video, we are going to look at the generative fill and how you can use it to retouch and tidy up distracting and busy backgrounds in an image. So I thought that this picture would be a really good example because even though I like this group portrait, I like the facial expressions, the composition and the colors, I find these figures in the background, all these people in the background, really distracting, and they kind of ruin this image for me. So let's see how you can use the generative fill to quickly and easily remove them. So first of all, I'm going to go to Window and bring up the contextual taskbar. And then I'm going to use the marquee tool to select this person. So I'm going to set the feathering to 0 pixels for this. And then I'm going to make a selection like this. I'm going to take this poster in as well to make it easier for Photoshop to retouch this. I can also bring this up a bit like this. And then go to Generative Fill. Without typing anything, you can just click on Generate. And then Photoshop gives us 3 different variations to choose from. So I think all of these work. Maybe this one. I will go with this one for this. Okay, and then I'm going to zoom in a bit. I want to remove the shoulder of this man that you can't really see, but is there in the background. And for this, I'm going to use the polygonal lasso. And for this one, I'm going to set the feathering to 1 pixel. And then I'm going to make a selection like this. So I'm going to select a little bit more than I want to remove. So I'm going to cut into this person, but not too much, because if you select all of the face, I found, Photoshop is going to try to change the face as well. Okay, so once again, this works really well. So next I'm going to try to repeat this for this area, and this area first. Okay, so all of these worked really, really well. So now let's try to do the same for this area. Having tried this few times before, I found that this one was a little bit trickier because this is actually very busy and it's a small area, but we can try again and to see what happens. So this doesn't quite work. If we have a look at the other suggestions, I think this one is also slightly off because the wall doesn't quite line up. So my suggestion here would be to try again. If you go back, you can try to generate again. Okay, I'm not happy with this one either. So another thing I found is that if you make another selection, even if it's slightly different to your previous selection, this seems to can make a difference. So maybe we can try again like this. And I think I'm going to settle for this one. I think this actually works very well. The next thing I can do is to remove this lamppost like this. Excellent. And then I'm also going to try to remove these sandals from the background. Now, another thing I found is that sometimes making a slightly larger selection helps. Like this, and then again like this. Excellent. So the tool can be a little bit of a hit and miss, but I think nevertheless it's extremely, extremely good. Another thing that the generative fill allows you to do is to add or generate new content. So for example, if I draw a selection like this and then type something like, let's say, football, Photoshop will generate a new object inside of the image. So for example, then we can take this object and move it around, and because it has a mask, we can click on the mask and then use the brush tool and then just tweak its mask like this. But I'm going to leave this for another video where I'm going to look into this in more detail. But looking back at this image, so this is the retouched version with the tidied up background, and this was the original.